Hello, my name is Ali, and welcome to my channel. We are back with Color X Malice, Okazaki's route. Now, I will give you a heads up. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope not, but our neighbors are getting their roof fixed, so you hear tons of hammering going on, and I think someone's also doing their lawn, so I hope we can't hear it, but we'll see. I'm coming too. Okazaki nodded firmly, and we set off. The fire had broken out in a park within the residential area. It had just started burning, so firefighters and police hadn't arrived yet. Instead, neighbors and bystanders were gathering around the park to watch. Police! It's dangerous, everyone. Please stay back. Okazaki and I raised our voices as we pushed our way through the crowd to the source of the fire. Oh, jeez. What looked like a human figure had been left in front of the restrooms. Wait! As soon as I tried to run over to the figure, Okazaki quickly pulled me back. It's dangerous to get any closer. But somebody's in there! The blaze is unnaturally strong. I can smell gasoline all over this place. It's been spread over a pretty wide area. We don't have to worry about an explosion, but it looks like bundles of papers have been scattered all around the area where the blaze started. There might be something else. Possibly explosives hidden in the restrooms. The person in the middle of the fire isn't moving. They might have lost consciousness from carbon monoxide poisoning. We can't help them now. Okazaki was incredibly calm, and he coolly analyzed the situation. He was probably right, too, but what if it's possible that we can still save them? I frantically looked around for a fire extinguisher, but I couldn't see anything of the like. I have to say, for a police officer, she panics pretty quickly. You would think that police officers would be trained not to do that stuff, but I don't know. Pouring water on a gasoline fire was a bad idea, but maybe I could smother the fire. Oh goodness, I'm not sure about that, honey. As I hesitated, the fire spread to a nearby tree and grew fiercer. We have to do something. We have to help. In my confusion, I tried to approach the fire again, but Okazaki's grip only grew stronger. Let me go! There's nothing you can do right now. So is there anything you can do? Okazaki, I'm sure you could save... There's nothing I can do for them either. We have other priorities right now. What other priorities? What could possibly be more important than saving that person? Lady, calm down. This might have been the first time I'd ever heard Okazaki sound angry. I stiffened in surprise. Calm down. There are a lot of other people here right now. It's our duty to prioritize their safety. That's something you need to do now. It's something that only you can do. Oh, we are going to say, I think prioritize the evacuation. I wonder what happens if you actually just try to save the victim. Do you end up dying? I don't want to know. This is what I can do now. After Okazaki helped me regain my composure, I assessed the situation around me. I realized I wouldn't be able to put out the fire by myself. The priority now was to evacuate the local residents to prevent secondary casualties. It hurt to turn away from what might be a dying person, but I couldn't lose sight of my duty. I'll lead the evacuation. Good. You'll be fine. I'm with you. My hands were still trembling, so Okazaki held them both tightly. You can see the situation. Let's do what we can do right now, okay? Yes. I wonder if you click... Oh my goodness. I wonder if you click, like, if you... Whatchamacallit? If you pick the other one, if he, like, holds you back and, like, freaking yells at you or something. I don't know. I don't want to know, to be honest. We each took a part of the crowd and led them out of the park. Do not approach the fire. It's dangerous here. Please evacuate. Get out of the park, everyone. Stay calm so that you don't trip. Then some of the cinders in the air landed near my feet. They looked like the paper around the victim, but I noticed they were fragments of a written note. The note was apparently written with very shaky handwriting. I love you so much. I want to kill you. The scrap quickly burned to ashes. Okay. Charred paper has been added to the materials. That's interesting. Oh, we're on chapter 2. Nice. All right, here we go. I'm guessing this is Adonis's point of view? Or is that just showing? X-Day incident. Report for July. Wow, I can't believe we're already on chapter 2. Feels like we just started his route. X-Day incident report. Report of the X-Day incidents. July 1st. A man who had been obsessively stalking a woman was killed by a passerby. The assailant was arrested at the scene, but circumstantial evidence and witness accounts suggested it was a justified act of self-defense. However, the assailant was arrested as a suspect for the May X-Day crime and is awaiting trial. He is currently being held in jail. Do you know who the guy is? He was in Inamoto's route quite a bit. Of course, I paused it because I had an error and I ended up accidentally clicking the next one. So you'll see the next one anyway. After the incident, the Roman numeral 6 and an Adonis coin were found at the victim's residence. I was looking up the Roman numeral because I didn't want to get it wrong. And I ended up accidentally clicking skip. Anyway, for this reason, the assailant and the woman being stalked were suspected of having Adonis ties, but no evidence has been found to support this. In early August, Adonis uploaded a statement which stated this incident is part of the countdown. A man was arrested for defending himself. Don't you find this unreasonable? He was a hero who saved a woman. This woman had been plagued by her stalker for ages, but the police did nothing. We, Adonis, could not overlook this, so we passed judgment on the victim's behalf. Countdown to X-Day, 6. Also, this month's countdown is 5. Soon our judgment shall fall again. I'm terrible at Roman numerals, so I have to look it up almost every time. This incident would be well known to the public. They would know the threat was amongst themselves. The plan proceeded to the next stage. People would focus on the threat and realize that everyday malice in this world is real. It was a threat to their own lives. It was believed the occasional tumult within our organization would pose no obstacle to the plan. The countdown to the revival would march on relentlessly. Okie dokie. December 8th, 1:28 p.m. The afternoon after the park fire, I was at my desk answering non-stop phone calls. There were many Shinjuku residents who felt unsafe because of the repeated incidents and the volume of calls had increased. I'm very sorry. That matter is currently under investigation. That said, little of the information coming into SRCPO was of any use, and most of it was not directly related to the incidents. People reported seeing ghosts at the scene or thought the fire affected their phone reception. There's no helping it, considering the atmosphere these crimes have created. This morning, firefighters had shown up promptly to extinguish the blaze. The only damage was the trees near the fire center, and there were no injuries. The victim in the heart of the fire had died, however. From what Moshida had overheard so far, the on-scene investigation had ruled out suicide. It was most likely a homicide. On-scene investigation. Crime scene investigations are usually done by permission or warrant, while freelance investigations put the suspect on the spot and are done without permission. Phew. When the incoming calls finally slowed down, I sighed and rubbed my eyes. I had gone around collecting statements and reassuring the neighbors, so it was afternoon by the time I returned to the station. So it was an X-Day crime after all. The gruesome scene from this morning replayed itself in my head. I had watched someone burn to death, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was struck by the cruelty that could rob someone of their life so easily. There was an announcement video, too. If they also find the coin, how could they do that 2 days in a row? If Okazaki hadn't been there, I would have really been entirely useless at the scene. It had all been a shock to me, and I still hadn't fully recovered my composure. There was a commotion in the building. I immediately spotted the reason. Section Chief Morioka and Commissioner Minagishi from Investigation Section 1 were both here. This police station was the headquarters for the X-Day investigations, so there were people from police headquarters posted here. However, SRCPO personnel didn't generally interact with investigators unless they were invited to a meeting. So the office would be stirred up by the arrival of such highly ranked officers. What in the world is going on?
Is Lady Hoshino here?
I couldn't believe my ears. He came in here and asked for me, by name.
Has she done anything wrong?
While I was panicking, Moshida quickly positioned himself behind my desk. I quickly stood up and straightened my posture, confused. Yes, sir. I'm Lady Hoshino of the Special Regions Crime Prevention Office.
I heard that you were near the crime scene this morning.
Yes, sir.
We'd like to ask you some questions about that. Could you spare us a moment?
I'm Masanobu Moshida, her superior. Would you mind if I accompanied you?
Moshida came to my rescue as I was tongue-tied with anxiety. However, Morioka shook his head no after a moment's consideration.
We'd like to speak to her one-on-one first. Come with us.
Yes, sir. My throat had dried out, and that was the only response I could manage. They brought me to the X-Day Investigations headquarters. Everyone else seemed to be out. It was empty. The room felt very big to me when I entered, and I grew increasingly nervous, wringing my hands tightly.
So, about this morning, why were you there?
I can understand why she's so nervous, because I remember when I was in high school, my first year, freshman year, it was my first year in like a public school. And so I was called to the office. I was nervous as heck because I was the quiet one. I never got in trouble, stuff like that. And I'm freaking out. And they were just asking me because the teacher was suspicious. They were asking me questions. But they actually had to call my mom to ask if I was okay because I was so pale. I was shaking so bad. I always remember that because my mom told me like years later, yeah, your principal actually called me saying that you were scared, like I was going to pee my pants or something in the office. And that principal was really nice. So it was hilarious that I can understand why she's freaking out. Let's just say. Huh? I thought they were going to ask me about the fire itself, so I was caught off guard by the unexpected line of questioning. I just happened to be on the way to work.
I heard you were with an SP officer.
I ran into him on the way. Okazaki, the SP officer, said that he also had business at Shinjuku Station today.
And by what circumstances would an SRCPO member like you be acquainted with the security police?
Oh, that kind of sounds like an asshole way to say that, dude. And of course it goes out like this. See what I'm dealing with? Huh? Circumstances? I just know him.
And how do you know him?
I began to doubt myself under the rapid-fire barrage of questions. Perhaps noticing that I had gone pale, Minagishi interrupted with a troubled expression.
Morioka, lay off the Inquisition. At least give her an explanation for this. There was a Roman numeral 1 found painted on the wall of the park restrooms earlier this morning. Analysis of the coin we recovered proves that this was another X-Day crime.
The autopsy had found the victim's cause of death to be carbon monoxide poisoning. When I had found the body, the victim had already perished.
Based on all this evidence, it's hard to imagine that she was involved directly. So there's no need for you to have to grill her. Look, you're terrifying her.
It's like the principal with the secretary. Oh my gosh, I'll always remember that. They do suspect me after all then.
You're not under suspicion as a criminal. I've just got a bad feeling about you.
Oh, that makes me feel good. With that, Morioka leaned forward as if searching for something in my eyes.
You know something about X-Day crimes, don't you? Something we don't know.
Feeling the cold collar against my skin, I instinctively went silent. When I did, Morioka sighed deeply and quietly continued.
You know IG Yanagi? He used to work for me. We know that you've been interacting with his team.
Did he tell you?
No. He's not the kind to let that information slip so easily.
Morioka bluntly remarked on his old coworker.
But we're getting intel about them, whether they like it or not.
What does that mean?
How did you come to know Yanagi?
I met him on patrol. I had him show me ID just to be certain. I was curious, so I looked him up on the database and saw that he was a former officer. After talking for a bit, I learned that he was independently investigating the X-Day incidents. I'm just keeping an eye out as SRCPO so that they don't get hurt. They're civilians now. I had no idea how well they'll fall for my bald-faced lie. To begin with, someone they knew to be as cautious as Yanagi wouldn't tell someone he'd only met a few times that he was investigating X-Day. Morioka just stared into my eyes for a while, expressionless. I didn't know what he was thinking.
You know that much, even though these cases aren't part of your job?
Morioka didn't pursue the subject of Yanagi and changed the topic. Yes, I thought it was necessary for the safety of the public that I be informed. Morioka and Minagishi shared a look after my plainly stated reply.
You're made of sterner stuff than you look. Fine. Enough about Yanagi. We'll overlook it. For now.
On the main topic.
His smile is so freaking creepy. I don't know why Minagishi kind of creeps me out. Oh, that wasn't even the main topic. I shifted in my chair, bracing myself for the big issue.
The video for the crime that occurred on the 7th was only sent to the police station. We believe its release was limited because the criminals were afraid they'd be traced too fast.
They appeared to have arrived at the same conclusion as Yanagi's team.
But the video this morning was streamed to the public at about the same time that the crime was committed in broad daylight. Witness statements placed a suspicious female near this crime scene, but we haven't gotten any solid leads on that yet.
The crimes had occurred in 2 days, but it looked like the investigation wasn't going as desired.
Now that the countdown is reaching 0, they're behaving more erratically.
Adonis is a terrorist group of many people. We've concluded that the string of crimes so far have been committed by multiple individuals. The leaders of the organization may be starting to sacrifice their
prawns. They're sacrificing their prawns, y'all. Pawns.
Yeah. They don't care if we catch their minions. In fact, they're daring us to arrest them. And of course.
Come on. Work with me. Thank you.
They must be confident that we couldn't hit the heart of their organization even if we were to arrest the perpetrators.
I think it's my switch dock. I think it doesn't connect perfectly. So I think if it kind of jiggles a little bit, it does that. So I do apologize. Maybe the group was confident that their peons wouldn't betray the organization. Peons? Is that how you say it? And really? Really? Calm down, breathe. Thank you. Or perhaps the low-level criminals didn't know anything about Adonis to begin with. I wondered which was the case.
Did anything stand out to you at the fire today?
It's all in my report.
Tell us. It's fine if it's redundant.
Understood. Gasoline had already been poured all over the scene when I had arrived, and I couldn't approach the source of the fire. Bundles of paper were also scattered around the victim, and I found a burning scrap of a strange note. I told them all this as politely as possible.
Considering the contents of that note, Rika Sugawara is indeed suspect.
Rika Sugawara? That was the name of the woman who had been stalked in the July incident. Why would her name come up now?
Minagishi, she doesn't need to know that.
Anyone working within this police station would have certainly been able to figure that out.
Minagishi calmly continued.
Because the victim was burned to death, it will take some time to identify the body. However, we believe that both assailant and victim have some connection to the July case.
Why?
Because of the video statement.
Speaking of which, I hadn't watched the video yet. I had run straight to the scene of the crime and was busy filing a report ever since I got to the station, so I hadn't had the time. I'm going to let you guys go here. I hope you are enjoying, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!